Raised by Wolves Season 2. We're back in this sci-fi world, picking up lost ends, spoilers up ahead, and we're going to be making some predictions.
Hey everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. So Season 2 of Raised by Wolves, Season 1 ending. Not going to lie, it got weird. Now we're back in this universe. And I tell you what, if there was ever a show that needed that previously on type section where it talks about, definitely needed. Now at the end, I noticed at the end of episode 1, I did notice they had character recaps that were like 3 minutes. Like, okay, talking about Marcus. Yeah, so they had like 5 or 6 of them. So it filled you in on the characters, but they're referencing story beats that I was just like, oh, I'm really straining to try and recall that. And you could go back and watch the whole thing again, but it's like, man, like Game of Thrones, they did not have episodes without recapping important points. Yeah. And I feel like they should have had. HBO, it seems like they always do that. And I'm curious why they don't have that for this.
Yeah, they have a podcast though, I think.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I think they have a podcast, which they also had for His Dark Materials too, I think. So by the way, guys, we love HBO Max here. We cover stuff from His Dark Material, Raised by Wolves, Watchmen, to movies, to Dune, you name it. We cover it here for HBO Max. And now we're going through all the Studio Ghibli stuff, which is on HBO Max. So check out our playlists and fun stuff like that. But now, Raised by Wolves. Mother, father, Sarah, Sue. Marcus. Yeah. We're going to Paul and Champion, right? Champion. Yeah. Campion. We're going to go into it. Okay. First things first, before we go into major story plots, was that just a black rectangle for a tank? I was so thrown off by that.
You know what?
The opening shot with the tank, I'm like, this looks so funny. Like, I can't. Is this really happening?
So Nick had seen the first 2 episodes before me, and I go, so how was it? Like, were they crazy like the end of season 1, just weird? And he goes, all I'm saying is check out them tanks. That's all I'm saying. I was like, okay. And then I saw the tanks. I'm like, there you go. It looked like floating the floating monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. No, I'm just kidding. It didn't look like that, but it's obviously a design choice. So I mean, it's not like they didn't have budgets. Just that was their design choice, and I'm sure
which is good though, because it makes it really they're doing a good job separating the religious cult from the atheist, right?
Yeah,
like you can tell like the atheist. I think there was even mentioned in the first season too, like the atheists didn't even have technology to go to other planets. So like, and it's so cool because in this episode, they have to steal one of their ships, just to survive. And if the ship wasn't destroyed by Mother at the beginning of episode 1 or whatever, they probably would have lost the battle because they didn't have as many people. And it was just like this whole thing where like it was totally set up for them. They got so lucky. They got dealt the right hand. They even landed in the tropical area where no one else landed for some reason. And they have a robot called the Truth, which is basically a god, which makes no sense because they will do whatever that robot tells them to do. And it's like, wait, aren't you atheist? I'm so confused. You guys are believing in this machine like a god. Anyways, I just thought that was very interesting and cool because it's flipping it basically. Because like before it was like the sun thing, and now it sounds like Marcus is trying to enlighten everyone, like to break out, and it's like the roles kind of flipped and switched, which I thought was interesting.
I mean, I like the idea of this construct AI because there's some really fun. One of my favorite. I mean, I have to say it's really fun to be back in this universe. The end of season 1 got weird. When season 1 started, I was like, you know what? I like this kind of minimalistic look to it. It doesn't look like it has a huge budget. And then as we got along, we got some really kind of bigger budget looking things mixed in with some not so big budget looking things. And then near the end, the story got really kind of convoluted and weird, and I wasn't enjoying it as much. But when we got these first 2 episodes of season 2, I'm like, it is nice being back in this universe. Yes. I have missed this. But this whole the ideas, and this is maybe a Ridley Scott thing, maybe it's the writers, but they do tend to present fun ideas, and the conversations on these theological or deity type ideas are fun. It's like they're atheistic, but this construct. The guy was saying to Sue, I think he was saying, he's like, I was under the leadership of some of the most brilliant minds, And most of the time they did a good job until they didn't, and this thing has no ego in it. It doesn't make mistakes. And it's like,
that we know of.
Yes,
that is
exactly.
Foreshadowing.
Yes, yeah. And of course, but it makes sense from a atheistic point of view. It's like, hey, you know what? We've put our understanding of, we've taken our ego out of it. It's not a God, but it's a quantitative system or quantitative system.
It's so funny. So it's the same programmer, right? That reprogrammed Mother.
It's I don't know if it's the same program.
It's the same creator
like
that's why he referenced her as sister. So she was so easily corrupted by whatever technology's on this planet. So quickly. I'm like, oh dude, this truth thing does not stand a chance, dude. Like this snake is able to survive an acid lake. And it's like, this thing, they have no chance on this planet, right? Oh, let's go hunt it. I'll be like, no, let's go run from it, But, and we know she's not going to kill it because like the kid was drawing a snake on an egg and she's like, don't draw scary stuff. It's not scary. It's beautiful. And she's going to be like, just like my child,
And obviously, we're covering episode 1 and 2.
Yes, because that's how they were released. Yes. Thank you. Just in case. Spoilers too, which we mentioned at the beginning, but spoilers again. Yeah. Okay, so father finds a robot, right? He finds some like ancient
Android.
robot.
Yeah.
But something's so interesting. So it's a honeycomb kind of texture, right? Or like, like kind of pattern. And that's the same pattern.
Print almost. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the same pattern that Mother had. Remember when they were like opening her up and stuff?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that same kind of pattern. So I'm like, whoa. Has a robot been here like way in the future? Because remember the flashbacks and all the other stuff we've been getting. So I'm like, oh, so this is an even older robot than the ones we have now, or androids or whatever you want to call them. Androids, and then did you notice on the planet now, like by the water, there would be like huge honeycomb structures sticking out of the sand?
Yeah.
And then Father revealed to us that when light touches the surface, plant and life grows on it, right?
On the android, right?
Yeah. Yes, and on the android, but the planet was kind of had the same kind of shapes, right? So I was like, wait a minute, what if the planet's made of the same material? What if it's like a robotic / planet? But I'm just like, because like think about it, if just by sunlight, stuff can grow on it. Obviously, not the whole planet, but what if it's like technology that kind of spreads throughout the surface, which causes like these portals and the snakes and like hearing the voices. Like it's just like a whole Wi-Fi network, just like boosting a signal, to people's minds and controlling them. And
so
stuff.
Nick is going down the road of Wi-Fi boosters and all that.
I'm just saying, John, but like, you know what I mean? Like they don't show us stuff unless they're going to fulfill it later, which they did in the first one, right?
Usually Nick's theories, I say he's crazy, but this show has already talked about how wacky
I knocked a couple of things, right? I got a couple of things right last time.
And so the second episode was titled, the seventh, right? The seventh child, the snake.
Yeah.
And
very biblical number.
Yeah. And so do you think that this is just what I'm hoping is not going to happen? I only watched season 1 of Lost and I read about it. I was enthused. Oh. I started watching season 2 and I saw it getting really weird. And I was like, this is just going to get weird and they're not going to answer questions. I don't know if I want to get deep into this. And then I started reading about it and I heard that, when it ended, they didn't answer a lot of the questions that people wanted to know about. And it just got weirder and weirder. Do you think we run this risk? Because Ridley Scott, especially in the Prometheus movies and Alien Covenant, has asked and presented a lot more questions than he's answered. He's not the sole creator of this, but he is an executive producer. You can tell there's definitely Ridley Scott influences on this, hardcore. And then, whoever else is working on this as well. Do you think they're just going to present this stuff and let us wonder about it, which is not a bad thing? Or do you think they're actually going to answer these things as we're going along too?
It's funny you mentioned Lost. I do get a lot of Lost vibes now that you say that. It's kind of like stranded on an island, know nothing about it. There was people on the island there before them. If you haven't watched Lost, like spoilers, but if you have, maybe
spoilers from like 20 years ago.
You can also see this connection, right? There's even a thing in Lost where there's like a radio signal and they have to find the source of it. And now that you said that, there's a voice signal and they have to find the source of it. And then when they get there, they're going to see a French woman with a rifle. But no, because that's part of Lost. If you watch Lost, you'll probably be laughing. But we don't have a Hurley. Anyways, we don't need to talk about that. But we need to talk about how the snake, right? So the mother is going to have to battle the snake soon, right? And we know mother's not going to kill the snake. If you kill the snake, there's no story at this point. But you got to have monster, right?
Sometimes you have a finale for a season just to keep everybody on edge, and then at the next season you just kind of kill off that thread because you, for whatever reason, the writers, right? Usually at the end of season 1, they'll have a cliffhanger. And they don't necessarily know. Season 2 hasn't been greenlit yet. They don't know what season 2 is going to be about. It's not until that's greenlit they sit down and start pre-production, storyboarding, writing. They may not have had season 2, even thought out yet. And so there is a possibility, at least story-wise, I'm thinking of it from a kind of show production standpoint, that they don't completely explore this. And I hope they do, because it was a big section of the latter half of season 1 where she's this, this odd, like, architect type guy in this virtual space, and she's pregnant, and then it's this weird effing snake coming out of her she's giving birth to, and it's growing really quick. And I hope we get answers.
Yeah. So the snake approached Champion, or right? No,
Campion.
Yeah. Campion. And there's a connection or bond with him, right?
Looks like it, yeah.
And is it like a brotherly bond because they have the same mother? Or is it one of those things like he's trying to infiltrate his mind? Like maybe Paul's mind was, remember, because Paul heard voices. But he is fainted. So something happened. I don't know what. Maybe he's pregnant with another snake. But the eggs he was putting back, was that the snake's eggs?
I thought it was at first.
Okay.
I don't think it was, but I thought at first it was, I was like, oh, here comes mom, but then it turned out to be the huge snake. So I'm assuming it's not. I don't know for sure because that was a small egg.
Yeah.
But
he was really small too.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And,
but it was born like a mammal, so.
But like sharks, though, like I think shark eggs are really small. And then, like, obviously, great whites. But who knows? I'm no expert. I'm
trying to give me nightmares.
I'm no animal
expert. Trying to give me nightmares. But
John hates snakes. That's right. Okay.
No, I hate sharks even more than snakes. Yeah. Okay. So you're just combining.
And then the acid lake. Oh, sorry. Go on. I just had a question for you. The acid lake. There's these swirling holes of like tide pool things going on, right? You think that's from the holes that go to the center of the earth? It's like creating the acid in the lake or something, because it's like
you'd
in the
think
water.
It would just drain if it.
I don't know the way the gravity works in this. They were in and out right through. Who knows how gravity works on this planet?
Weird. That was true. That was weird.
And the snake that big can float, which does not make sense with gravity.
I'm not gonna lie, that whole idea where they could just go through the center of the earth and out the other side almost does support your idea that it was a fabricated planet, right? Almost does support that a little bit, because otherwise, I don't know if that really holds up in science fiction, but who knows?
Totally.
So I like that idea, that acid ocean, though. That's a rough way to go, man.
I know.
Yeah. When those people got hit, that's just a cool idea. And the whole idea that the snake can go in there and be fine too. I had not gotten the concept and idea from season 1 that was a technology snake. I thought it was just a biological.
It's like 50-50.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, I didn't grasp
that's right, because they mentioned that in the episode, right? He's like, he's
so.
half organic matter. Remember when they were like doing the scan? They're like, he's the sword or whatever,
Okay. And so that's kind of the interesting thing about this is, they've been very clear to have an atheistic side of this and a theological side, or and then a religious side of this, and it does give some fun things to ponder about this. You have Campion, who's not religious. Yes. But from the way the story's going, I would imagine that he ends up being that one that's that chosen prophet or whatever, because he has this connection to this snake, and he's, from the get-go of the story, he's been kind of our main child focus and things like that. It could be Marcus,
him and Paul, right?
It could be Paul too, but
and
Paul
they're forming a friendship now.
Yes, usually the person who thinks he's the one doesn't end up being the one, right? Paul's like, it could be me, and then Kemby's like, you're crazy, and it would make more sense story-wise.
It was just the one who doesn't want to be the leader is the one that should. Yeah. That should be the leader at least.
That's the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell.
But we don't know what they're doing here, huh?
This show is so off the rails that this could go anywhere and do anything.
So, did you watch any of the trailers for the next episodes and stuff like
Oh
that?
no, I didn't. No.
So there's another robot. Spoilers, unless you watch the trailer. It's trailer talk. This isn't episode talk.
Trailer talk.
There's like another android robot, and it looks pretty sick. It's like all in black, and it has like a cloth over there, or some kind of like cloth or fabric over the face and stuff like that. And like I was like, oh, I wonder if Father's gonna put this robot back together. And it's gonna be like, the main villain or something like that. Maybe.
So it's gonna be Ed Harris, the Man in Black.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No crossover, no crossover.
But I have a feeling that whatever Father's doing is gonna either backfire or help. Maybe, I don't know, because really we don't know. We know there's Neanderthal skulls on this planet from the season 1, and then we know there's humans that have messed up proportions and body things.
Yeah, and
remember?
that's what I was gonna say. In season 1, weren't they saying that the humans turned into the beasts, right? And they weren't telling the kids that. Isn't that right? This is why this show really needs that recap at the beginning of each episode.
Yeah.
We're trying to
I totally forgot about the beast until right now. Honestly.
Do you remember that though? Is that
because there was
correct,
no
though?
mention of the beast in this?
Didn't the humans like evolve into the beast? I think that's what happened. You guys
and
down below, please remind us.
Yeah, because I remember
sure.
I had a theory because of the voice. Maybe it only attacked intelligent creatures. So their way of like maybe trying to, or their process of evolving was dumbing down or becoming less human. So the voice couldn't work on their mind as much or something because it wanted rich minds to feed off of. I don't. That was one of the crazy theaters I had, but it could totally work in this one. It could totally work. So, where do you think the show's gonna go from here, John? We'll end it with this, and then where do you think it's gonna go? I'll kind of, and then any other final thoughts? We'll close it out.
Well, Campion's headed toward Marcus, so that's going to be a very interesting because he's helping the
which I'm enjoying
child
Marcus's character again.
Yeah,
I didn't like him a lot towards the end of the first season.
No,
I'm enjoying his character again now.
Yeah. It's funny because we really liked the beginning of season 1, and we're really enjoying the beginning of season 2. Hopefully, it doesn't trail off kind of like it did last time.
I mean, it was kind of fun getting into the funky stuff a little bit though, because it's just like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like we need that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess it's a pretty nice way to end off a season because there's a lot of questions to be answered, and I am enjoying being back in this world, but it strayed. I wouldn't say strayed. It got weird for sure.
Yeah. On Kepler 22b or something like that, isn't it?
I feel like Mother's gonna get back her more savage side because they keep saying how she's back to being the old Mother, and so I think she's going to become.
She needs her eyes though.
Yeah, so I think either they're going to be manufactured some way or another, or
you think Marcus? You think it's in his gut?
I know. It's like, I forgot he had to
Maybe
eat
he's gonna
the
poop
eyes.
it out. That's fine. Just throw it in the acid lake really quickly. It'll be all clean or whatever.
But by the way, I'm trying to recall how much time do you think is supposed? I mean, obviously, we've waited a long time between season 1 and season 2, but in story time, how long has elapsed between season 1 and season 2?
I think there's been some time. No, I think there's been some time because, like, who knows how long it would take to actually search the planet for life or whatever? Because I'm guessing the planet's kind of large, and I feel like about time they got. It sounds like they've been living there for a while. And it sounds like Mother's really been out of it. And it seems like she was laying underneath the leaves for a while, too.
Yeah. And they played it off. It's so funny because, the actors are getting older.
Yeah.
And so the first time she sees Campion, your voice is half an octave lower.
Yeah.
And it's like, the actor got older, lady.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you think it's
part
been
of growing up,
time.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think so, too, just for the kids. And we might even have another jump afterwards, unless they kill off all the kids. Did you notice some of the prisoners that the atheists had were people that we already know?
Yeah, I couldn't remember because we haven't had
Lucius?
recaps. I couldn't remember
Lucius
who
or
they
something
were.
like that?
Who were they? I couldn't remember.
But I think they were with that final little group of people that were with Marcus.
Okay, with Marcus.
That's what I remember them from. I think, and I think so. And I think they're in the group that is going out with Father.
Okay. Yes,
which I think Father's going to release them. Something's going to happen. Either Marcus is going to free them, but something's going to happen. I feel like they're going to get freed because that's going to be Marcus's army probably right there.
Marcus, it seems like he would need some more people.
There's not that many people on this planet team up to defeat the snake. It's just like it's just Yeah. But maybe not. Maybe the snake is the good guy in all this. So maybe humans are bad.
It is
the Jedi are evil.
From a certain point of view. I mean, it's going to be interesting because if you do think about like Prometheus and Alien.
Yeah, it's right. John's the expert when it comes to that. I think I've only seen those movies once.
I'm not, but
John's the expert. I'm stating that now.
Ridley Scott does like to delve into that. It's like, okay, the architects created this, but they also created weapons out of their technology and things like that. So is this snake supposed to be a weapon or is it a creation? It's going to be, I hope something comes significant and worthwhile comes to this whole voice thing, that impregnated mother, which is still very weird and I think kind of an offbeat story beat, and then the whole snake. I hope it has a good arc and a good resolution. That's kind of my hope, but I don't know if it's going to.
Yeah, but it looks like, was she still able to hear the voices when she wasn't in the pod? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
It was only when she was in the pod, right?
When she was plugged in, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so the effect is really strong on humans then, because the humans they that's right. Because she said, "Oh, it's only when I would only hear the voices when I connected." I think she said that to Sue, right? When she was talking to Sue about the voice and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna probably be doing reviews right after it comes out on Thursdays,
I think. Yeah,
so we'll probably be doing reviews here, so subscribe to stay updated. This is gonna be probably released like a day before the next one comes out, but it's all right. You'll see how right we are or how wrong we are.
But this is a fun series, and it's a fun one because there is so much speculation on what's being presented. It's a fun one to have conversations on. So all of you down in the comments, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And it obviously does draw from existing mythology and religion and things like that. And so it's fun to, be in the conversation on those things. Keep it polite, please, but it's fun to have that conversation. So thank you very much. Season 1 was a really fun conversation to have with everybody. So hopefully we'll be able to continue it here. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Check out asart.space for all the audio and video links, and we'll see you on the next AsArt. Flying snakes.